You know, when you get a high-tech motorcycle these days, you're not just getting a vehicle, you're getting a whole story. And the user manual, well, that's the official version of that story. It's not just some booklet you toss in a drawer. It's the definitive rulebook for a very complex partnership between you and your machine.
I mean, just look at this bike. It screams power, adventure, freedom, right? But underneath all that sleek metal is a set of rules hundreds of pages long. It's filled with procedures, warnings, and a whole lot of responsibility. The manual makes it pretty clear that real freedom on two wheels isn't about having no rules. It's about mastering them.
And the manual doesn't waste any time getting to the point. Right from the get-go, it lays out this contract. A deal, really. And that deal puts the responsibility for safety squarely on your shoulders. It sets a really serious tone for everything that comes after.
Now, this is what I find fascinating, how it communicates risk. It's not vague at all. It uses this really strict color-coded system. And pay attention to the words here. The difference between will cause and can cause. That's a huge difference. One is a certainty, the other is a possibility. The manual wants you to know exactly what's at stake. This isn't just friendly advice, it's a direct statement of cause and effect. So let's start our journey where every single ride is supposed to begin, before you even think about hitting that start button. The manual frames this as a mandatory ritual, not a friendly suggestion. This is the foundation for every safe ride. Think of the pre-ride check as your first conversation with the bike each day. You're asking it, hey, how are you feeling? Are your fluids good? How do the brakes feel? This isn't just ticking boxes. It's about building an intuition, a physical connection with the machine. A simple thing you miss here, like a soft tire or a sticky throttle, could turn into a huge problem once you're moving. And here's where you see just how precise you need to be. The manual doesn't just say, check your tires. It asks, so who's riding today? Just you? Or are you bringing a passenger? Because the moment you add that extra person, the physics of the bike change, and so the tire pressure has to change with it. That rear tire needs an extra 30 kPa to handle the load safely. It's a tiny detail, but it has massive implications for how the bike handles. All right, once the physical checks are done, Act 2 begins. This is where you get on the bike and you start talking to its powerful electronic brain.
And welcome to the modern cockpit. This screen is so much more than a speedometer. It's your command center. It's where you manage everything, from how the engine delivers power to your phone calls and your music. It's the central hub for a whole network of systems that are all there to help you out.
But here's the double-edged sword of all this tech. On the one hand, you get amazing connectivity, things like Apple CarPlay. On the other hand, as the manual is very careful to point out, compatibility isn't always a sure thing. Seeing a message that says your device isn't supported is a real-world reminder that technology needs its own set of checks and sometimes troubleshooting.
But the most impressive tech is the digital safety net that's working for you all the time, in the background. With just a push of a button, the bike can completely change its personality, from a smooth city machine to a rugged off-roader. And these systems, they're not just fancy acronyms. They're your active partners, managing traction, braking, and stability way faster than any human possibly could. Now, for all this incredible technology, the manual makes one thing absolutely clear. You cannot cheat the laws of physics. The digital systems are there to help, but they can't perform miracles. This is all about the hard limits and the rider's ultimate responsibility.
29 kilograms. That's it. That is the absolute maximum weight of luggage this motorcycle was designed and engineered to carry. It's not a guideline, it's a hard number calculated by engineers who understand the bike's frame, its suspension, and its balance.
And right after giving you that number, the manual hits you with this stark reminder. It directly connects going over that 29-kilogram limit to the worst possible outcome. This is a powerful lesson in respecting the machine's engineered limits. It's where a simple number becomes a life-or-death calculation.
So let's just go back to one of those key technologies. What is torque control really doing? Well, think of it like a digital referee. It's constantly watching the speed of both wheels. The split second it senses the rear wheel starting to spin faster than the front, like on gravel or in the rain, it instantly cuts just enough power to let the tire grip again. It's absolutely crucial for staying in control when things get slippery.
But it's not all high-tech. The manual also turns you into a bit of an old-school mechanic. It teaches you to read the physical signs of wear and tear, like these tiny grooves that are cut into the brake pads. They're not there for performance, they're basically a ruler. When the pad wears down and that groove disappears, your ruler is gone, and that's your clear, simple signal that it's time for new pads.
And the story doesn't end when you park the bike and turn the key off.
Owning a modern motorcycle is an ongoing commitment. The responsibilities after the ride and for the long term are just as important as that pre-ride check.
The manual lays out a lifetime of care for the bike. And this isn't just about fixing things when they break, it's all about preventing them from breaking in the first place. Changing the oil, the air filter, the brake fluid, these are the non-negotiable rhythms of a healthy machine, all designed to ensure safety and reliability for years to come.
But even these rules need you to use your judgment. The manual gives you a baseline, but then it basically says, okay, now you have to think about your world. If you're riding in really dusty or wet places, that 24,000-kilometer schedule for the air filter, it goes right out the window. You have to service it more often. The key takeaway is you have to adapt the rules to your reality.
And finally, the manual draws a very, very hard line when it comes to modifications. The engineers designed this bike as a complete, balanced system. Using unapproved parts can throw that whole system out of whack, introducing variables they never planned for. And that's why this is another top-level warning, tying a simple choice of a replacement part directly to the risk of a fatal accident.
So all of this really brings us to one final big question. We have these incredible machines with traction control, ABS, and brains smarter than ever before. They are, without a doubt, safer and more capable. But the rule book, as we've seen, isn't getting any shorter. So what do you think? As our machines get smarter, does our responsibility as riders get smaller? Or does it actually grow, demanding that we become even more knowledgeable and responsible operators to manage all that complexity? It's a fascinating question, right at the heart of our partnership with these modern machines.